got audio now? What's up? Hopefully we have audio now. I didn't change any settings. Gotta love it. Gotta love this mic. Sometimes all of a sudden it just boom. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it sometimes. Awesome. Okay. Competition overview. I'm doing good, man. It's a good Halloween. I took apart my PC, completely rethermal paste everything. Took apart the motherboard, wiped it all down, checked all the components, and everything looks real good. Again, I took apart the whole system, like completely took it apart, put it back together. I did do some short videos, like some shorts, as I do need to put out some more shorts. So, yeah. How about you, man? How you doing? How's your Halloween? Apparently, some people got rained on, so that kind of sucks. There it is, 11 hours, 11 hours and 24 minutes. Awesome. Actually, I want to check out my profile, see what's going on with my profile here. Things are looking good by the looks of it. Still fifth overall in Canada. First for my league still, probably. Yep, first for my league still. Awesome. It's all that matters to me. I'm Luger. Colt Canadians is my team. First place in Canada for my league. So. Oh, gotcha. Let's see. Yep. 1, 2, 5 processor cores. So I could do 2 processor cores. I don't got any 2 processor cores. I should get myself a G6900, I think it is. Yeah, G6900, LJ1200, I believe. Should be a dual core. Yep, 2 core, 2 thread, 46 watts. Should be LGA 1700, right? Yeah, there it is. FC LGA 1700. So I should grab that because it's pretty cheap, 50 bucks. That way I can do the competition there. We are going to be going over a few things like AMD's new CPU, new 3D CPU, and we're going to be going over the 20A node, which will probably be passed off to TSCM, which is also nope. Oh yeah, yeah. Welcome to the MacBook stats, the dual core. I thought Mac had a bunch of like really like a multi core, not just dual, but like 8 cores too. I don't know. I don't really care for Mac, so we got Geekbench 5 single core. I should grab a pencil for this stuff too. Should grab a pencil for this stuff just to make sure that I am good to go. Because I should grab my box of, actually I should do that now too. Grab my box of fun. One of my box of funds, which is full of GPUs, motherboards, and other things. So I should probably do that. But yeah, use only AMD processors, which really sucks. Although there's a combo for a pretty good price. Core disabling is allowed. Oh, core disabling allowed. Yeah. Wow. Hey, to be honest, like if people do editing and stuff like that, not too handy with PCs either. Mac has actual editing software built in all of their pros, so it's not bad. I'm not saying MacBook's bad. I'm saying they suck because they're proprietary and you can't overclock them like you can with any other CPU or GPU because they're a proprietary type system. Yeah, and they can last long. They can. Apparently, if the moisture is too high, let's say you have a shower and you have like your laptop in like on the table somewhere. Apparently, the moisture from that could actually make it so it stops running. Then you have to put it in, and then they have some sort of moisture, um, like a moisture not software, but there's a hardware inside them that if the moisture gets too high, it just shuts it down. And then when you go in for warranty, it'll be a tripped hardware onto it, so they'll be like, "Oh, no warranty because moisture. You spilled something on it." That's why I don't like them either. So yeah, only 1700. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Again, 11 hours, 19 minutes, and 45 seconds for the competition. Oh, it's gonna be great, 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 great. I will have to get stuff set up. So like my main PC that I'm streaming off of right now, I'll be switching it out probably right off the bat. So that way I'll have another PC for the streaming PC. That way I can overclock on my main. That way I can get that one done over with basically, and it'll be nice. That'll be nice. Oh, really? Yeah, that sucks too. But yeah, 3D CPU profile max. Yeah, I should definitely get a pencil or something. Some paper. Pencil and paper here just to make sure I get everything else set up. Use 6, 12, and 24 core processors in total. No core disabling allowed. Would like to get a new 13900 KF or 14900K or KF. That'd be a 24 core. But there was an AMD 5800X with a motherboard for a really good buy. So I don't know. Need to buy something cheap. Might be the G6900 though, because it's really cheap and I can afford that. Use only FM1, FM2, and FM2 Plus. So can't do that. It's fine. Use only Intel Max of 24. Going from 8 to 16 gigabyte RAM, it costs an extra $200. That's insane. Proprietary, man. Proprietary. That's Mac for you. That's seriously Mac for you right there. Oh my god. That's actually brutal. Extra $200 for 8 gigs. For 8 gigs. Wow. I can get some really high end specs RAM, 48 gigabyte for that. That's brutal. Okay, so that's CPU. GPU is APU, which is AMD. AMD with the APU CPUs, which is their CPUs with GPUs built in to the CPU. So that's that. Vantage only makes submissions with an AMD. Of course. The following graphic cards are not so any graphic cards are allowed on this one, except for these ones, which is the 4070 Super GeForce, 2070 Ti GeForce, RTX 4070 Ti Super, and the RTX 4080 Super, and the 4090. Kind of makes sense though, but kind of odd at the same time. Oops. Use one video card cores in total, so any GPU again can go on this one. AMD processors and Vulkan for only make submissions with NVIDIA graphics card. Also, storage from 120 gigabyte to 1 terabyte is like $500 to $800. Holy! You seen an iMac with 500 gigabyte RAM? What? 500 gigabyte RAM? That's. I wonder how much that guy paid for that. Probably $50,000 computer. Minimum. Probably minimum. I can go up to 256 gigabytes of RAM on my dual CPU server. And that server was a $10,000 server back in the day. So, I mean, that's a dual CPU too. Nah, I ain't gonna build no crap. I ain't gonna build no Mac. Only use DDR3, DDR4, and DDR5. Gotta make sure tolerance within 0.1%. Oh, go build. Ah, gotcha. On their website, yep. I'd be putting everything in. Whatever I can afford. Guess what? That's nothing right now. Okay, that's fine. So that's memory frequency. Geekbench 3 is DDR3, okay, perfect. Prime Labs verification is required, so I have to make sure I remember that. Process. Oh, that's right. Back to competition. Do they have the... Oh, they don't have the... They don't have the background ready yet? Really? Why don't they have the background ready? What is this? I was hoping I can download the background. Whatever. Times by is... Ooh, I would like to get some Threadrippers. I'll do 1700. So all these right here are forbidden. So I'll have to go with my LJ1150. That's good. My i7-3770K is pretty good. Definitely try it out with that. Total memory size should be 6 gig, 8 gig, or 16 gig. 6 gigabyte sub must be a triple channel LGA 1366 emission only. 16 gig. This is PY Prime 32B. I could use this board, throw in just one RAM stick, see what I can get on it. Because I do have another kit. I have a 32 gigabyte, so 2x16 kit of Corsair Vengeance for DDR5. And then what's in here is Corsair Dominator Titaniums, but they're 48 gigabyte kit, so they're 24 gigs, so I can't use them. Overclock them. Do not sound good enough right now? I mean, I could put in some real clicky stuff, but no thanks. I could show people how to make them quiet or how to make them like more reactive too, but I don't do that. I do overclocking on PCs. Super Pi. Use only DDR3, DDR, and DDR2. Verification screenshots required. The official background score, CPU Z tabs must be done. Okay. It's memory. What about tweaking? So processor speed limits 5.5. Use 8 core processors in total. No core disabling is allowed. Different CPU memory needs to be used. So like, because I'm going with Canada on it. So let's say I have the top score right off the bat. Somebody has to have a different CPU and memory kit than I am using to actually beat my score technically. And anybody else, like anybody else. So Canada, we have to make sure that the best scores are put in place. I did all right last year. A few scores got taken off because I forgot to update my CPU Z. The guy even apologized. He's like, these are good scores, but you have to take it down. I'm like, oh, that was after the competition. No. I personally added C4s under my switches and gave it to my brother. Uh, was it good? Are they clicky or those are kind of switch or what? 5 fast. 5 gigs. Use only AM3, AM4, and AM5. Okay. Use 8, 12, and 16 cores in total. No E core disabling. I already know what's going to win that. 9950X is going to win that for sure. That sucks. Use 6 cores in total. No E core disabling. So I can't use my 12600K. RIP, brother. Memory cast latency TCAS needs to be 28. Processor speed is limited to 5 gigahertz. So I have to overclock my RAM down to cast latency 28. So right now they are at cast latency 34. To get them down to 28, you have to be pretty good for DDR5 for tuning them. And I'm pretty good, so we'll do it. And the processor speed is only 5 gigs, so 5 gigs. 5 gigahertz, that's it. And, oh yeah, it's the last one. Okay, so this could be fun. Yeah, own system. So I'll be doing multiple CPUs. Um, Probably just one GPU because my 3070 Ti is my best one. Like I said, my go to hardware actually. Go to hardware. So I got a few different kind of hardware here that I can use. I don't have my 13900KF or 12900K anymore though. So, but or my i7 8700K or 8600K sold. But probably will be using my X5650. I'll be using my 12600K for some tests. Video card, we'll be using my 3070 Ti. We'll see if I bring out my 2080 Super. It's the hydro copper model. Oh, wait. Should be able to see it. Oh, guess not. Guess not. But yeah, it's a hydro copper model. I got some fairly decent scores with it. I need to do more tests with it. I mean, I got second, fourth, third, 17th, third, fourth, seventh, fourth, third, ninth. Not too bad. I'm gonna grab my box of fun to be honest. So if you just give me a minute, I will go grab my box of fun and we'll go over some of the stuff that I'll be using for this competition. So if anybody comes into the stream, let them know I'll just be right back grabbing a box of fun. Won't take me long. But yeah, I'll show you the 2080 Super. It's a very nice graphics card. Like I said, it's the EVGA 2080 Super Hydro Copper. Used, you can find them for about 800. All right, we got the box. Oh, fun. Yeah, they're rare. There's only literally one now on eBay that you can find. They're rare. They're a rare card now. It's nice for me because I picked mine up for a crazy buy. A really, really, really good buy. Let's get rid of bobblehead me. Let's make this bigger here. Boom. We're just gonna go through the box. A little over 200 I paid for mine. All right, so this is the what's in the PC right now doing the streaming for the encoder. It's the 3070 Ti, has multiple records on it. It's one of the fastest 3070 Ti's out there. So, just saying. About 100 and so CPUs in here. Again, part of the giveaway is an X5570. We'll be doing another stream about the giveaway, probably during a competition stream. So, keep your eyes open for that. Hardline tube, a hardline tubing kit, just for getting more precise cuts. Bunch more CPU boxes and CPUs. A lot of people like my little 1080p 60 hertz 7-inch monitor. Probably will be using that for the competition as well. My 1080 Ti EVGA for the Win 3. Would like to get some more of those, to be honest. And we got the 2080 Super. Got the badge. Nope. Extra screws. Alright, here it is. It's the 2080 Super, or EVGA 2080 Super Hydro Copper. Looks like we need to clean that up a bit. With the X5570, you just gotta be a subscriber. And on one of my live streams that I do, you just gotta chat in it. That's all you gotta do is be a subscriber and chat. Then after the 10th day, I'll be going through all my subscribers and then all through the chats, figuring out who actually is a subscriber still, who's chatting in the live stream, put them in a hat. I'll be doing a draw. There we go. A little bit nicer here. I'll just do a little zoom in for us. There we go. Yeah, nice acrylic block here. It's a very, very heavy card, by the way. This is a very heavy card. It does have USB-C, Thunderbolt right here. Multiple ways to plug it in, so from the side, from the top, and from the bottom, which is very, very nice to have. Especially if you're doing SLI on the NVLink. It's very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, it's not a cheap card. If you go on eBay right now, if you're US, it'll be about $700. If you're Canadian, it's $850 for a used one. Got some pretty good scores on it too. Yeah, it's a water block. It's got to be on a custom water loop. Only way you can use it, custom water loop. I would like to get another one, but the price of them are just way too high. Oh, I found my little brush. This is really good for cleaning. Very good. Also got bags of screws. Another NVMe drive with certain windows put onto it. Keep my box for my Corsair, Dominator, Titanium. I keep all my boxes, try to keep them all, because this all has the tops in them. Because I take off the LEDs off of them, because extra heat, not good for overclocking. But also show my 1080 Ti for the Win 3. Also got for a pretty good price. They're not cheap, by the way, the 1080 Ti for the Win 3s. In box, they're not cheap. And that's how I buy my stuff. It's gotta have the box. It's gotta have the box. All these have been re-thermal pasted, taken off. There's a video, a 5-hour long video of me taking apart graphics cards. And then there's one just for the 1080 Ti. It's a 1 hour long. Yeah. Such a nice card, man. Such a nice card. Would like to get 3 more of them or 4 more of them so I can see what ones are the better ones. Definitely use it. Yeah, I blacked out the code. Yeah. This one has fans. This one has lots of fans. All brand new. Put all brand new fans in them. This way. Yeah. Voila. EVGA. Miss EVGA. Miss EVGA. Wow, miss Kingpin more or less, but now Kingpin's gone and I don't know what he's doing nowadays, to be honest. He's not doing much overclocking, he's just showing off his electric bikes more or less on an overclocking channel. Weird. It's odd in my opinion, you're showing off electric bikes, even though they are nice. Yeah. Happy about that. And in my totes, I like to have, it's a silica pack, you know those little silica packs you find in stuff? This is a big silica pack, just make sure all of them stay nice and dry, so that way no moisture can get at them. It's good to have. Really good to have. Yeah, so I also got my, should put this somewhere else though. Another EVGA card that I fixed up, got working. This is the EVGA GTX 770 SC, so it's the Super Clock Edition. It's one of the better 770s to get. So I got it for a good price. Had to do a little bit of soldering work. If you watched that stream, awesome. If not, you should go check out that stream. It is, I got a new EVGA card. It's not new, but it's new to me. I would like to get more of them as well. What's Dave saying today? Dave is saying 19 degrees, 61% humidity. The humidity's been nasty. Nasty. Hey, Hart, how's it going? A 1070 Ti is an OC edition. I just found out from reading my box. Yeah, the Gigabyte OC edition. I know what 1070 Ti you have. It's not basically a 1080. 1080 is completely different core. So when you go to the 70s, so like this one, it's the GeForce GTX 770. The cores can only go up so high on them. The RAM, you can overclock the RAM still, and the RAM will be about the same as every other uh, RAM basically. So GDDR5, it's gonna be the same throughout all the models of GDDR5 GPUs. So it doesn't matter what you get, that's the speed unless you overclock it. For like EVGA or gigabyte and stuff like that, if you go with like a 1070, it's a certain core frequency it can go to. You have to be able to do mods or something that like that to get higher core clocks, like voltage mods on them, and no power limit. Again, I do have a no power limit video out there on a EVGA GTX 1070 for the Win model. The 1070 Ti clocks a little bit higher. Again, it's a different core than every other model. The 1070 is a different core as well, so it will clock even higher. The 1080s or the 80s of the series always clock, the core clock is always higher and generally more powerful. Same results with the CPU. So I'll show you what I mean. So if we go into actual overclocking and actual stuff like that, we'll go video card. I should make myself a little bit smaller here. Bring that up a bit. Boom. Not bobblehead, but that's okay. So we'll go 1070 Ti. Here you go. Now we'll go Firestrike. We'll just do the 20th place. Okay. 20th place is using the i9 9900K Coffee Lake CPU, and it's doing 1685 megahertz, and the RAM is doing about 10,000 megahertz roughly. Oh wait, no, 9,000 roughly megahertz. Okay, now we'll go here, we'll go 1080. Firestrike, 20th place. Whoa, 13900K, a little high. 2.1 gigahertz. See what I'm saying for the speed? 2.164, oops, versus 1685. Score 20,949. Score 25,757. Again, you gotta make sure you go off of the CPU, right? So if we go processor, take forever to load. So i9 9900K. Go to, it's just gonna give me those. Generally, you can get something different, but compare video cards. Now we gotta compare video cards to actually see performance of different video cards. And we'll do 1070 Ti. And we'll do the 1080. These are the actual performance. So 1070 Ti. Average is, this is based on 38 submissions. For 3D Mark Vantage, 80,469. And Vantage for 1080 is 73,661. So yes, better. 3D Mark 11, slower than the 1080. But remember, we're doing old tests. So this 3D Mark Vantage likes older graphics cards and older hardware in general. So let's say I wanted to run a 980 Ti. The 980 Ti would probably beat the 1070 Ti and the 1080. So let's put 980 Ti. Oh no, it's not even going to beat it. Wow. Generally it does, but what CPU? Because because we asked, I can't even search the actual what's actually using. That really sucks. Okay, so it is using GP104 specs on it. It's for the same core, just one is clocked higher. Memory's clocked higher on this one. Wow. Pipelines 160. Average OC. So we need more info. Back here, more info. Because that's on based on average. So if I go again, let's do top scores here. Oh yeah, probably for multiple reasons. It's cheaper. The 1070 Ti is was cheaper, right? And you got pretty good performance, and it's still using the same core, but it's not gonna be clocked as high as the 1080. Again, we'll just do Fire Strike. We'll do. I need to figure out. No, not that CPU. That CPU sucks. 10900. 2176 is actually pretty good. Not gonna lie on that one. And then Fire Strike. So can we find a? Okay, so we got Vermeer here. Oh, it's on liquid nitrogen though. It's really hard to find these scores. That'll give me good. Not 12. Let's beat the 10. 99. Okay, well, all right. So this is a worse CPU than what than the 10.9. Okay, so this is a worse CPU technically. The i9 it's a good CPU still. It's a really good CPU still. The i9 9980XE. It's by Skylake X, which is the XE. So, and yeah, on water still 5.1 gigahertz. 5.1 gigahertz for the 10900KF, which is the Comic Lake S, which is better. So we're clocking 2176, and 1080 is clocking 2189. See the score though, 25,900 versus 21,591. Yeah, of course. It's another hardware that, it's another hardware, right? So of course your CPU doesn't have to utilize more. So of course, it could be better, man. Of course. Yeah. Again, welcome to the setup. Got a table set up this time. We got some my phone there, but a bunch of stuff. Again, big shout out to my donators already using the thermal paste, which is awesome. Got some stuff ready for the competition all laid out. So happy about that. It's not hardwares, it's softwares. Programs. Programs and softwares is what you got to remove. Any kind of extra processes running in the background will slow down your gaming. Um, you can remove all the bloatware too from Windows. That would help you too for gaming. Not much. It'll probably give you like a 0.5 to a 1% increase in frames, which if you already have high frames, it's not going to help you much. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, so perfect. We're good to go now. Hopefully everyone's having a good Halloween. If anyone has any, questions, PC questions, anything about the competition that's happening in literally, 11 hours? 11 hours of competition starts. So, 10 hours, 45 minutes, and 40 seconds it starts. Let's go. Let's go. Ooh, 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 ooh. So that's awesome. So, like I said, I've had a i9 13900KF, an i7 8700K. What's in the CPU? What's the CPU is in my daily right now is a 12600K. By the way, the 12600K, if you're looking for a cheap, low-powered CPU, absolutely amazing. 10 core, It's a 10-core CPU, but it's absolutely amazing. 10 core. My PC is easily 140 frames per second PC, but the bottleneck is about 30 to 40% on some games. Yeah, because some games will be more CPU dependent and some games will be more GPU dependent. So that's why if you run benchmarks too, so different kind of benchmarks, either DirectX 11 or DirectX 12, more or less you want to be running DirectX 12 benchmarks because that's what the games are nowadays, DirectX 12. You want to be running like TimeSpy or TimeSpy Extreme, so that way it'll utilize the GPU and CPU quite hard. Then at the end of the test, it has a combined test, so you can really see what your CPU and GPU are doing. It's really good to do. Let's see if we can get some internet started here. I should put on the chat so that way I can see it. Let's go here. Get a pop out for the chat going. That way I can see it. One more up. One more up. There we go. Chrome, pop out. Boom. Got it. We got chat all set up here. Forgot how to do the actual setup for it though. To make it actually look really nice. So I'll figure that out another time though. So that's cool. Let's put myself over a bit. So if anybody has questions, just let me know. So what else should we do? What else should we do? We should. That display capture ready. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about some new stuff that's going on. Some new stuff that's going on here. And that is, oops. Of course. So, oh, I gotta put it down there so everyone can read. So, oops. There we go. So Intel canceled, well, not canceled. It's Intel has effectively scrapped its 20A node, by the way. So this is like that big money maker for Intel. 18A was also a big money maker, but after the degrading CPUs, then it wasn't even technically all Intel's fault. It was motherboard manufacturers, again, called it. Yeah, so Intel has effectively scrapped its 20A node, meaning that its new Arrow Lake CPUs will be built by external partners. So I talked about this before in another stream and videos, which is TSMC. If you search up TSMC, they are a huge CPU company, like massive manufacturer. So with 20A, Intel has successfully integrated both their ribbon FET gate all-round transistor architecture and power via backside power delivery technology. Oh, it's a rough, rough life for Intel. So since releasing the Intel, well, actually, I'll make this a little bigger. So since releasing the Intel A Process Design Kit (PDK) 1.0 in July, we have seen and I came out with this as well. Like not many people knew about this or was talking about it, so I did. In July, we have seen positive response across our ecosystem and are encouraged by what we're seeing from Intel A in the fab. It's powered on and booting on operating systems healthy and yielding well, and we remain on track for launch in 2025. Again, came out with this a while ago about that. One of the benefits of early success on Intel A is that it enables us to shift engineering resources from Intel 28 earlier than expected as we near completion of our 5 nodes in 4 years plan. With this decision, the Arrow Lake processor family will be built primarily using external partners and packaged by Intel Foundry. So, awesome. The journey to Intel A has been built on the groundwork laid by Intel 20A. Yes, it has. Enable us to explore and refine new techniques, materials, and transistor architectures that are crucial for advancing Moore's Law. If you know Moore's Law, right? People, do you guys know Moore's Law? Do you guys know Moore's Law? Oh, whoop. I want to see full screen so I can see the chat. Okay. With Intel 28, we successfully integrated both ribbon FET, gate all-around transistor architecture, and power via backside power delivery for the first time, and these learnings have directly informed the first commercial implementations of both technologies in Intel A18A. This points to the iterative nature of semiconductor innovation, and we're excited to bring these advancements to all Intel Foundry customers. Focusing resources on Intel A also helped us optimize our engineering investments when we set out to build Intel 20A. Again, they're talking about 20A for 2025 as well. We anticipated lessons learned on Intel 20A yield quality, so CPU degradings and stuff like that, and then that's why they're implementing these things into the architecture, so that way motherboard manufacturers cannot enable extreme OC mode on the CPUs on stock settings. That was the reason why CPUs were degrading, because motherboard manufacturers had too much leniency and Intel was too focused on their 18A and 20A part, because again it's way bigger than the customer base for box CPUs, which is for high end data centers, and investors were more on to the 18A and 20A than any box CPU Intel was selling. So Intel was not focused on that, and then it took way too long for Intel to actually figure out what was wrong with the CPUs. Yes, Intel had some problems with their CPUs, but it was generally due to the motherboard manufacturers enabling the step 3 mode or extreme OC mode instead of performance mode or stock settings mode, basically in their CPUs. And the motherboard manufacturers put on extreme OC mode, would put it to a different parameter that's built on the architect of the CPU. All CPUs have an architect and a spot for that has different modes for us extreme enthusiasts, for any normal people, and for gamers. It has been done like that for since a long time ago. Always had a different spot in the architect just for that. So yeah, and blah blah blah, with part of the bridge to Intel A, but with current Intel A defect density already at D over 0.40, so their yields of the actual, like the defects of the CPUs while they're actually manufacturing in lithography. If you know how CPUs are actually made, and GPUs technically are made the same kind of way, but CPUs for Intel doing lithography, the actual process of making the actual those big circular discs that have all of the actual CPU chips built into it, and then those are cut out with a machine that get put onto an actual plastic, copper, and all that, so that way all the transistors can be put in, and then all the LJ pads can get connected to all those transistors, and the semiconductor basically, right? The economics are right for us to make the transition now. So it's pretty good. 0.40 is pretty good. It's pretty good, to be honest. So this is it. So each one of these that you see is an actual CPU, not this whole die, but each one of these is an actual CPU. And they're saying that 0.4 of them of the defect density of each one of these chips is at a 0.40 or less. So it's awesome. Intel has confirmed that they have already powered on 18A based Panther CPU Lake CPUs in their labs. Intel's 18A node will be used to build both Panther Lake and Clearwater Forest, which are part of the 18A node. Okay, these CPUs will reserve the client AI CPU and server CPU markets respectively. Panther Lake will succeed Arrow Lake in 2025, making Intel's move to TSMC temporary. So Intel literally temporarily gave them the part of this just because they are focusing on fixing the Intel's issues with the motherboards and implementing different architect into the box CPU, such as like the 2085K has it built into that. So that way motherboard manufacturers can only go to performance mode and not extreme OC mode for stock settings. Yep. For Panther Lake onwards. Okay. From Panther Lake onwards. Intel should return its own lithography nodes. Okay. Its own making of the CPU. It'll should return to its own lithography node. So again, TSMC is manufacturing the CPUs for Intel currently. Okay, so that's this thing. That's the big die. Lithography makes all of these. Okay, that's part of the making process of CPUs, lithography. And that's the lithography nodes. Furthermore, 18A may also see the Intel produce high-end parts for 3D parties. Ooh. Or third parties. You can join the discussion on Intel betting the farm on their 18A node on the OC3D forums. I should make an OCPC forum. There we go. Mark Campbell, a Northern Irish father, husband, and techie that works to turn tea and coffee into articles when he isn't painting his extensive minis collection or using things to make other things. He sounds like a big old nerd that just loves to talk about stuff. That is awesome. And he is from Ireland, apparently. Northern Ireland. That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And again, so we're going to talk a little bit about AMD now. So AMD is releasing on November 6th at 6 a.m. It's 9800X 3D. I'll just go back to the actual chat here. See what's going on. Nothing with the chat. Still going to blame everyone. Yep. Yep. You got that right, Hart. Okay, right here. We got it right here. The gaming legend continues. AMD introduces next generation AMD Ryzen 7 9800X 3D processor. Is it going to beat the 5000X 3D? Probably not. Is it going to beat the 7800X 3D? Probably not. It's probably going to be around the same for some things, and for some other things, the 5800X 3D is going to beat it. So, is it going to be worth your money? Probably not. The 3D V cache was a really good thing back with the 5800X 3D, but now I don't know. So innovative AMD 3D V cache technology expands portfolio of leadership desktop processors. Santa Clara, California, October 31st, 2024, Globe Newswire. So this is where it's coming from. Today, AMD NASDAQ AMD unveiled new desktop computing products, delivering enhanced performance for gamers. I don't know about that. It may have more frames, but the dips are going to go below your refresh rate of your monitor. And guess what? We have to bring out some user benchmark here because I'm liking user benchmark right now. I am liking user benchmark. You want to know why? I've been calling it. I've been calling all this stuff. X3D. Really? CPU. It's not here? Where is it? Search. Yeah. GPU. What's going on? Oh, I was just reading it. Right here. CPU benchmark. Oh, CPU. Duh. What is going on? Oh, gotta make sure I'm not a robot. I felt like a robot there. Oh, hopefully you guys did not see that. You saw nothing, Heart. You saw nothing. Okay. Remember when I was saying all these gamers and big content creators like, well, Linus is sponsored by AMD this year. Um, Actually, Hardcore Overclocking was sponsored or is still sponsored by AMD. By the way, that's why he's bashing Intel or completely bashing Intel. Jay's 2 cents is, he's always gonna be sponsored by AMD, Intel, all the brands basically because they're big content creators. But a lot of gamers are being sponsored by AMD, as in they're getting the 7900 GRE GPU or some sort of CPU. So I've said this before. The AMD 7000X 3D CPUs have the same core architect as the rest of the 7000 series, but they have one group of 8 3D cores with extra cache. The 3D cores are priced higher but run at 10% lower clocks. For most real-world tasks, performance is comparable to the 7000X variant. Okay, remember that. Cache-sensitive scenarios such as low resolution canned game benchmarks with an RTX 4090, a $2,000 graphic, mind you, benefit at the cost of everything else. Be wary of sponsored reviews with cherry-picked games. Again, I've been saying this. I literally just saw this the other day. Literally, like cherry-picked games or cherry-picked tasks. Like seriously, like there are only like one or two games that work really good with it, and there's only a couple other tests that actually work good with the 3D variants. With cherry-picked games that showcase the wins, ignore frame drops like AM dip. Again, there's AM dip. You gotta remember, you AMD fanboys, you have AM dip. That's why you miss on first-person shooters, because your frames are going below your monitor refresh rate. Remember that. That's the reason why you miss, or the game feels bad. It's not your Wi-Fi, it's not your internet, it's not your GPU, it's not your motherboard, it's not your RAM, it's your CPU dependent. So AMD has an issue with it. It could be part of their Infinity Fabric, which will go into the RAM. Again, okay, we'll have to go over this more when more stuff comes out. But since AMD spends a lot of money to make sure the reputation is just keeps going up, might be hard to find some things. I would need to get AMD CPUs, motherboards, and GPUs, all the new stuff, just to show about all this stuff that they're talking about here and what I've talked about in the past. Yep. Frame drops and gloss over the losses. The losses of frames. Your 1% lows and your 0.1% lows. Going so low that it's would be annoying. It would be annoying to play. It'd be like you're on some weird Wi-Fi or something. It'd be like my stream sometimes. Also, watch out for AMD's army of Nethendral social media accounts on Reddit. AMD pays people to go onto forums, to go onto people's YouTube channels, to either if they're the person's already sponsored by AMD and showing AMD, they'll pay somebody to go onto that YouTube channel and actually say really good stuff and it works for all this and blah blah blah. But it's cherry picked. Remember, all these games that they're gonna be saying is cherry picked just for AMD and that CPU. Oh, forums and YouTube. And YouTube. They will be singing their own praises as usual. AMD, and I've had lots come on my channel while I'm not promoting, while I'm just using my Intel stuff, and the person says, oh, it's crap, this and that, have you used AMD, this is AMD, AMD will beat this, AMD, this CPU would beat that, but it's like, nah, it won't, it'll only beat it in maybe one game, and still give you frame drops. As usual, AMD continue to develop advanced marketing relationships with select YouTubers. Mandy, by the way. Mandy is a Apex Legends gamer. He got the 7900 GRE. He was promoted and he promoted it and did a video all about it and he uses it. He doesn't like it. He said it afterwards, after a while, that yeah, he's going to switch back basically because he's dropping frames, he's missing his shots and all that, and he was not happy afterwards. And yeah, he was sponsored, so he had to say something good. He had to show the GPU, plugging it in, using it. So again, that's just one person, and there's probably 100 other creators out there that were sponsored by AMD, was given a GPU or CPU or a whole computer of AMD product and was sponsored. So that way they had to say all good stuff and show all these select tests how good it was versus Intel's. But Intel would beat AMD at about 80% of the games, editing softwares, and other stuff like that, like benchmarking as well, for like the same rough CPU of the same year. Obvious aim of compensating for second tier products with first tier marketing. PC gamers considering a 7000 X3D CPU needs to work on their critical thinking skills. Influencers are paid handsomely. Okay? Yeah, it's like content creators, your big content creators and your influencers. Handsomely to promote overpriced niche products, which is the X3D and the Epic. The Epic's pretty good. The Epic is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. The Epic's pretty good for a workstation CPU. It's not a gaming CPU. It's a workstation. And the Threadripper. The Threadrippers are absolutely a baller of a CPU if you can get the high end ones. But they're like $5,000 for used for the high end ones. Used. Rational gamers have little reason to look further than the $300 13600K. My 12600K beats a lot of AMD's new CPUs. My 12600K, I'd have to overclock it just a little bit, but it will beat AMD's 7000 series. A lot of them. And their 3D crap. Because the cache, ooh, the cache, there's so much cache. Who cares about your cache? Your frequency sucks. You got your AM dip. It's all garbage. Garbage. Oh, what happened? I'm not a bot, I swear. Which offers comparable real-world gaming and better desktop performance at a fraction of the price. You can buy it for $300 right now, US. For Canadian dollars, it's about $350, okay? Workstation users and RTX 4080 plus gamers, so the 4080 plus, so anything from a 4080 and up, may find value in higher core CPUs such as a 16 core, $400, 13700K. Okay? Despite offering better performance at lower prices, as long as Intel continues to sample and sponsor marketeers that are most funded by AMD. They will struggle to win market share. AMD owns the mass majority of the CPU stock market, but not the actual marketing sponsored market. Intel does not sponsor very easily. You have to be one crazy content creator and influencer to be sponsored by Intel. That's why I'm gotten into the hardcore overclocking as well. If you're sponsored by certain people, they will help you with the competitions about giving you, the latest gens and not cherry picked CPUs, but you can easily get your stepping B0 CPUs, which is really good for liquid nitrogen, or they'll give you engineered CPUs, which are also pretty good for liquid nitrogen, by the way. Just saying. Intel owns 78% of the CPU market still. AMD owns only about 8 to 9% of the CPU market. There's a couple other CPU and APU stuff out there as well. TSM is a huge maker of CPUs, but does not own its own company of distributing CPUs. That's why Intel gave TSMC their own 18A or 20A node. Okay? That's why our CPUs are now being made right now for Intel by TSMC. Hopefully, I did not bore too many people with that one. No, it's not BS, man. It's fact. That was facts. That was facts from forums by content creators and everything like that, okay? Yes, user benchmark is made fun of a lot, but it's because AMD literally paid people to black market them and make them look like they don't know anything. Do you want to know what user benchmark actually uses for its test? Floating point. It uses six floating points on one test. It uses actual real world tests that can be implemented into editing, gaming, and other things. So I'll show you. I'll show you because people just don't understand. Should have it. Okay, here we go. User benchmark uses for its CPU. CPU tests include integer and floating and string. Do you know what that gets put into? Games and blenders and stuff like that. CPU tests include its 6 3D game simulations, which is 6 different games of 3D games, which has came back since, the Voodoo 3D. If you know that GPU from way back, that's when 3D came into play, and then Voodoo, of course, went off and did its own thing, sold its whole company and blah, blah, blah. And now we got these GPU companies like NVIDIA. AMD makes its own GPUs and has been making GPUs for a long time. It's ATI. And we also got, like, Palette. We also got, like, PNY. We got, oh, man, do you even know how many different kind of GPU manufacturers is out there that uses the 3D mechanics for your games, because your games uses the 3D mechanics? Holy crap, we gotta make another video about the things that are put into place for different kind of tests for either CPU or GPU, so that people can actually learn some things about technology and stop buying into AMD products because they market their stuff so well and black market other things like user benchmark, because user benchmark is literally using certain tests for every real world application for a full computer that somebody like a consumer like you and me buy. Okay? Jeez, is. Okay. Drive tests include read, write, sustain write, and mixed I/O. RAM tests include single multi-core bandwidth and latency. You can use IDA64 as well to do this. And IDA64, Intel will crush AMD because of the whole, like I said, I'm pretty sure the Infinity Fabric kind of messes with AMD with the games and stuff like that, and it drops and then you get the AM dip. Pretty sure it's the Infinity Fabric, but I'm not sure because I don't have enough AMD stuff to actually test this stuff. Oh, I'm getting worked up. I know I'm right. I've been right all along. I even said motherboard manufacturers were messing up Intel CPUs, as in degrading Intel CPUs. Something is wrong. There's a video about it, and another video about it, and a live stream about it, and another video about it, and another live stream about it, way before anybody even figured it, before Intel even figured it out themselves, because they were too busy with their actual money making of their 18A nodes and their 20A nodes and their investors with them. I've been right all along. Sorry, Hart. You've probably heard this many times. Many times. Sorry, buddy. Okay, skill bench, space shooter, test user input accuracy. So as in how good you are and not like that. I don't even touch it. You just leave it and let it do its thing and pass its thing and whatever. You don't have to do anything on that test. Reports are generated and presented on userbenchmark.com. Identify the strongest components in your PC. See speed test results from other users. Compare your components to the current market leaders. Again, they're just running tests that are implemented in everything we use nowadays with a processing computer and GPU and RAM and your actual SSD or hard drive, okay? Like, they don't use anything specific. It's literally the basic of the basic tests that get implemented into everything that we use nowadays. Okay? And then all of a sudden that April Fool's joke user benchmark thing came out. And then, yeah, AMD marketed a lot of things and spent a lot of money to make hate on user benchmark, because user benchmark comes out with all these funny things. You should read some of the stuff user benchmark has said over the years about AMD and Intel, and how 1 year AMD was actually really good, and how like, oh, it's actually pretty good. AMD's actually pretty good. They're saying like AMD's actually pretty good, pretty comparable to Intel here. Intel, what are you doing, kind of thing. Like, they actually said AMD was good, and Intel still bashed them, basically, and everyone was still bashing them. It's like, holy moly, people, calm down. Like, this is just an actual test. I do these tests on Benchmate, on actual Benchmate here. Real tests, man. Real tests. 7-zip. Intel will crush AMD. Cinebench, which is an actual renderer of the CPU, would crush AMD. Okay. PY Prime will crush AMD. That's also kind of a RAM thing, but it's also, I'm pretty sure, Infinity Fabric on AMD is just absolute trash. They need to throw that away and be like, oh, Infinity Fabric was no good. Just because it was to infinity and beyond doesn't mean it's actually good, by the way. Jojo, what is up? Not much, just talking about user benchmark, and I had to tell one of my viewers there that it's not a joke. Like, it's an actual, they actually use basic tests for your PC, your everyday person's PC, to validate how good it is compared to another product. And AMD cannot seem to do very well with it. And the basic tests are implemented into all of our games, into blenders, into editing softwares and stuff like that. Like, it's, like I'm saying, very basic, man. The tests are so basic. It's literally like pies and like CPU, integer, nothing. Floating and string is literally like basically nothing. It's so like your games and stuff, like, it will help like AMD versus Intel kind of thing, and added in like an RTX. It will help your RTX technically if you have a better CPU that can actually do better for the floating and string. So let's say you put an AMD with a, like, even what user benchmark just said there, I just read it. AMD with the RTX 4080 plus, if you have a 4080 plus and up, Intel 13600K will beat a 7800 X3D. The 13600K is a $300 CPU. The 7800 X3D CPU is like a $700 or $600 CPU. Literally half the price, and it will beat it on all the games that use ray tracing. Okay, so It's not like user benchmark. It's not like I'm saying false information. It's actual tests that are on about 80% of games. Some games, like it's like the user benchmark even said, what I've said a long time ago. Cherry picked couple of games work better with AMD, and most of the games work better with Intel. Same thing with like GPUs. The GPUs are pretty good on AMD. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty good. The prices are way too much now because the performance does not weigh the price of them, right? Because the encoders on the 30 series beat out the 7000 series GPUs. How does that make sense? How does the generation before uh, so let's say the 40 series versus the new 7000 series. The 40 series encoder outweighs and completely crushes the actual 7000 or the 7900 GRE or the 7950 XT or whatever they're coming up with. Will beat the encoder on those. And AMD's completely changing the process for the next year or whatever, if they're going to bring out one next year. But they're going to completely change out the process, by the way. Completely change stuff out for the GPUs. I'm not sure about CPUs, but they're talking about changing out the GPUs and completely doing it all over, getting different kind of cores, different kind of encoders, and different kind of memory. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. I don't know what they're going to do, but they need to change something. And yeah, they're really good at marketing. They're good at marketing. AMD pays a lot of people, sponsors a lot of people because they need it. They only own 8% or 9% of the CPU market and own not much of the GPU market either. Like I said, there's so many GPU brands out there. PNY, Palette, was EVGA, and NVIDIA, like graphics cards too, right? Like we're not just saying more NVIDIA cards are being brought out by all the other brand manufacturers that make them. So NVIDIA is just the actual chip that gets put into a PCB from a manufacturer, and the manufacturer of the PCBs, like was EVGA was the best, or now PNY might be the best because Vince is working for PNY, so maybe PNY will be a better graphics card now. Who knows? Palette, which are their, what do you want to call it? Or Galaxies or whatever it is. They're really good graphics cards, by the way. Like high end overclocking. You want them for OCing basically. My 1400K score, 37,000 and Simbench R23. Very nice. My 13900 KF did 44,164, something like that. Is EVJ now working with PNY? No. Vince, so Vince's team, Kingpin, if you know Kingpin, you probably know the name Kingpin. Vince is working for PNY. PNY was a smaller brand, but made a lot of GPUs. So EVGA, during the switch from the 30 series to the 40 series, completely wiped out all the GPU, did not want to do any more GPU, did not want the hassle because of how powerful these cards are getting. So that's why they're changing the whole bunch of things that are coming out in play. I'll make a video or another stream about it, but there's a whole bunch of things that are changing with the actual semiconductors, and the advancements in CPUs and GPUs needs to change, as in the silicon. So the silicon dies need to change, and I'll be making a video about all this kind of stuff, saying these are what has been implemented into CPUs before. And now we're using silicon. We're at a silicon hardware limit, so we can only increase the actual wattage or increase the actual power of the CPU and GPU to actually increase the actual performance, basically. So now we have to switch over to some sort of different CPU and GPU processing, like lithography, like I've talked about in this video and other videos. Lithography, there's going to be a different kind of process of lithography that's TSMC, big manufacturer, has been implementing different kind of processes into helping out other manufacturers like Intel. Intel pass on its 18A nodes to TSMC, so that way TSMC can make their CPUs for them, just because headaches and all that. But there's a whole process of making CPUs where at a limit of the actual silicon, so melted down sand that are layered very thin with little wires basically throughout it and giving you different kind of, cache. Um, there's so much that goes into CPU. I'm making a video about, so I shouldn't actually get too detailed into it, but I'm making a video about how CPUs are kind of being made. There's already one on YouTube that's an hour long, very, very well done. It was from years ago, but probably 8 or 10 years ago now. Watch that one. It's amazing. But Vince, Kingpin, Kingpin himself, Tin worked for Vince, under Vince, as in design in different kind of power planes and different kind of ways to make it so the actual core can get more stable voltages and more power to it. But now, since these 4-day series cards are so power hungry, EVGA just wiped out the whole card manufacturing process in total because of warranties, and they're not making enough money off the cards, so they had to make some sort of money somewhere else, so they just wiped out the whole GPUs because they couldn't afford the team of engineers and that, like Tin, they couldn't afford them, so they just let them go basically. At least Vince got a job with PNY and working for them for maybe some nice overclocking cards on PNY, but I'm not sure what happened to Tin. I love Tin. He's one crazy gaming nerd, like GPU nerd, completely obsessed about PCBs and different designs and zombie boards and all that. Like, he's just my kind of guy. It's what I like to do. I like to hardcore overclock. Tin liked to hardcore overclock, but he did it a little differently, basically. Um, yeah. Is EVGA actually working with PNY? No. EVGA does not work with anyone but EVGA. Vince from EVGA that was let go was part of the team of engineers and board designers, like the EVGA motherboards and that, the Z790s and the Z690s and Z590s, Z490s and all of them, the high-end boards from EVGA, like the Kingpin editions, right? Kingpin, Vince, he was let go. His whole team was let go of engineers that designed PCBs for motherboards and GPUs. Completely let go. Vince from EVGA went to PNY. PNY hired him to make boards. PNY has always been good. They sell a lot of cards, but not a lot of people know about PNY. Not a lot of people know about Palette. Not a lot of people know about these brands. Only hardcore overclockers know about them. How you score that with 1370K and Cinebench? Mine was just on a regular PC case with AIO. I mean, how do I score that? 37. That's beautiful score, man. Beautiful score. Just on an AIO, yeah, beautiful. Like, it's good. What was your overclock? Just let me know the core frequencies. So your P cores and E cores. What were the frequencies? Mine was at 5.9 gigahertz on all P cores and 4.6 or 4.7 gigahertz on all E cores to get that score of 44,160, whatever it was, 64 or 67. 5.7 and 4.5, beautiful, man. That's if it's really stable and the temperatures are below 80 or max of like 85 C while on max all load, then that's very nice. Very nice. As long as your temperature is not up around the actual TDP of the CPU, like the actual limit of temperature of 100 degrees on these CPUs. So if it's not at 100 and it's like at 80 to a max of 85 during like a 10-minute all core workload, then beautiful. But if it's high degrees, then you're gonna be degrading your CPU, unfortunately. 1.25 volt, that looks beautiful then. Perfect. Just keep it, don't be changing a whole lot, and just work on your RAM overclocking, and you'll have an absolute beast of a system. I'm running my 3070 Ti, modded 3070 Ti by Zotac. It's a Zotac Apollo. It's got multiple records on it that have not been beaten yet. I gotta beat some records too. I got 48 gigabytes of Corsair titanium RAM, and they are Hynix M die, well tuned right now. Not the greatest, but well tuned. And my 12600K is at right now 5 gigahertz, and my E-core is at 4.3. I should check that. Not crazy though. I can do 5.5 on my P cores, and I can do 4.2 right now on my E's. So I can do 5.5 gigahertz on my P cores and about 4.3 to 4.4 on my E cores, depending on temperature. And I'm doing it probably at 1.275 volts for that. Temperatures are amazing. Uses, like, I'm streaming right now. The maximum wattage I've seen right now is literally 33 watts. It goes down to about 20. Yep, very low powered system. I do have Corsair Dominant Platinum, CL36, 5600 megahertz OC at 6000. That's good. If you can OC them to 6000, that's good, but it's the secondary timing is what you want to look at. Right now, my Hynix M die here is at CL34, 6000 megatransfers per second, and the secondary timings are so tight, it breaks the actual board. Basically, it's going like negatives. Hardware monitor, hardware info. Let's do a quick hardware info just to show you some timings. So here we go. Hopefully we can all see that. So hopefully we can all see that right. Command rate T2 and all that. So I'm at 6,000 megatrans. Says 3,000, but 6,000 CL34, 44, 44, 34. It said memory channel is active. It's only at, I'm only using 2 sticks of RAM, not 4. So hardware info isn't as correct as what people think. That's why I like hardware monitor as well. It's very easy, nice laid out. So yeah, 16T on our TRDR SG 16, but what we want to look at is our TWRWRSD, which is 4 timing. TWRWRDD is that 4 timing. Um, Refresh cycle time's not great at 700. It can do lower, but I like to be stable while streaming because Heart knows I crash, and Desire knows I'll crash if I'm starting to do some benching while doing it. It's only because of the refresh cycle time. Uh, it's it's got to be around 700 to 800 while I'm streaming and benching at the same time. But I'll do it around 600 from the. So TRFC 2 and TRFC 4 are in your BIOS. For Asus, it's a different thing, I believe it's called. But for other boards, there's TRFC 2, TRFC 4, and you can set TRFC 2 to 700 and TRFC 4 down to about 380 on Hynix M die. I've paid for the computer. I'm now making a Christmas list. Yeah, good job, man. My 4 active window, so our TFA is at 16. It's more of a Hynix M die and Hynix A die type thing, if you can get it that low. But also TWRRDSD for TWRRDDD is at 4T as well. And yeah, that's how you know I have a good kit of RAM right here. It is TWRRDSD, TWRRDDD is going to be 4. Might be able to go even lower, but probably not. 4 is pretty freaking low. TWRWRSD is going to be at 4, and TWRWRDD is also at 4. That's how you know you have Hynix M die or Hynix A die, but some Hynix A dies won't go that low. You can go as low as 8. So, hooray! But yeah, when you get some really crazy timings like that and your secondary timings, it's gives you like a 20% increase in performance basically just by tuning your actual RAM. You can keep the same speeds if you tune the secondary timings. It's amazing. I hope everyone's having a good Halloween. Hopefully you're not yeah, memory really is everything. That's why AMD kind of sucks. Like, yeah, their Infinity Fabric sounds really good, but it's not that good. You may be able to overclock or have the 8,000 megatransfers per second, but you have to have a certain board with your CPU, and you really gotta know what you're doing, or kind of know what you're doing. Um, Actually, hardcore overclocking. Buildzoid is his name. Buildzoid. So, I want to start. I want to show you Buildzoid. He's slacking. I don't know. He's just. I don't know. He's not an overclocker anymore. He's just a content creator. Build Zoid. His team, yes, he's first in his team. Woohoo! Third overall in Republic. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try. Yes, he's got some things, but he's been doing this longer than me. He's actually partnered up with Elza, Cooler Master, and Team Group. But he's slacking. He's slacking, man. Let's go to his hardware. Hardware. Oh no. Uh, 23? Really, man? Yeah, see? Look at that. All AMD right now. Sponsored by AMD. 12600 KF. No Ks. R23. 26,140. Baby J. It's not even him. Not even him. This is his team. Bull crap. But anyways, he's slacking. Just slacking. Hold on. Let me go back to here. What do you think the safest watt I should put on my PL1 and Core ICC Max amp? For the 13700, 300 amp on your IC, like 300, and your wattage. Oh, you're like what? 14700K? I thought you had a 13. I thought you had a 13. You're making some pasta, eh? Your mom's spaghetti. That's up to you, really, man. It seems like if like you had I thought you had a 13. Did you not? No, you had the 14. My bad. Not sure. I haven't really worked with them, so I couldn't really tell you the actual max wattage, but you probably don't want to go over like 350 watts with that CPU. Just because you're on an AIO. You want to make sure everything stays cool. I'm not sure your motherboard either. Your motherboard can affect things too. Let's say its power plane is actually not like your the actual power that it's putting out from the board. Let's say it gets hot because the board's not so good. Maybe a 6-ply motherboard or an 8-ply motherboard that's not so well built. It can give you worse voltage readouts and either give you more voltages or be a more voltage drop. Work on your load line calibration. MSI, it's a decent board. It's not the worst. It's only an 8-ply. It's not bad. So it's not bad. Probably good for 300 amp. I wouldn't go past it, to be honest. I wouldn't go to the 500 amp mark, just because you can get you can use more voltage. But if you strictly tune it yourself, then yeah, you can go to the 500 amp mark, but you got to tune everything for that, so that way the voltage won't go up too high. Are you on the newest micro code as well? Not 129, but the new one? Like you should be right up to date on the microcode. I think the newest microcode was 2 weeks ago now, so If not, then you should update it. Mode 3. Yeah, use the mode 3 calibration with the core offset voltage of negative 100 millivolts. Yeah, new microcode. Okay, good. You're getting pretty good scores with a nice voltage offset there. Probably gets you some decent temperatures with that AIO. That's pretty good. Yeah, I wouldn't go crazy with it though. Like, that CPU isn't exactly like a power hungry CPU by any means, but if what you got on it right now is just fine for you, I would keep it like that just because the temperatures are nice and low. Let's say you set the wattage too high and it wants to utilize that wattage at some point. There's no point of even setting it. Or you're probably not even getting close to that wattage. You're only hitting maybe 200, 220 watts on that CPU. And then what's the point of raising the watts and or raising the actual amperage on it if you don't need it? There's no need for it. There's literally no need for it. My board's still on F28 code. I have not updated mine because I tweak everything myself. Where's my XTU here? Do I have XTU on? Yeah. So here's my XTU. Boom. I haven't tuned the voltage all that much right now, or at all right now. But again, I'm at 5 gigahertz on the P's and 4.2 on the E's on a 12600K. Yeah, the temp is great on unlimited. The max I've seen is 375 watt, which is crazy. Yeah, that is pretty crazy for that CPU, to be honest. I would lower it if you can and see if it's still stable. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, yeah. Keep it down to that, or even put it to like 275. So that way, let's say it does need that little bit more. Um, what amperage is it hitting? Do you know? Do you know what the actual amperage it's actually hitting on peak? Probably won't be more than 300 amp, which means you shouldn't need to go to the next like next profile stage of it. There's no need for it either. But yeah, you can set the PL to like 290. Yeah, see, yeah. You could set it to 300, and just in case it needs it. Let's say you're playing some Black Myth Wukong on cinematic on super resolution cranked to the max. You might need it. You might need it on some spots where all of a sudden that part of the game, maybe something just goes on the game and it needs that power. Just make sure you won't crash or see some really crazy stuttering because it lowers the actual core frequency due to the fact that you're not hitting those parameters right now. Yeah, you should try some Black Myth Wukong. You want to see it ran on? Oh no, I might crash. Because you're not using a CPU oriented game yet. You should try some Black Myth Wukong cinematic performance, super resolution cranked. What is your GPU? I didn't read. What is your GPU here? No, I don't know. I had a 13900KF, but I broke it with a direct die. Same thing with 12 900K. 3080, nice. That's a good card. Yeah, there's no need for you to be crazy with your CPU. What are you doing with your PC then? I overclock. I do hardcore overclocking. I don't game much either, but I know how to tune for gaming, editing, and other things that people are trying to do with their PCs. Mostly extreme overclocking though. So my voltages in that, like I'll make sure I ask the person what they're doing with it before I give them voltages and all that. Um, I don't even really need to tune my CPU right now. It's 1.275 volts at 5 gigahertz is just fine. Mostly build PC and mess with tuning, so it run great. Yep, nice, very nice. I build many PCs. Competition's starting here if you didn't see that. If you didn't see that, I'm gonna be starting a actual competition for World Cup 2024 hardware bot right here. It should be starting like 9 hours now. 9 hours, 45 minutes, and 35 seconds. Let's go! Let's go. I need more CPUs, more hardware, more motherboards, more RAM, more GPUs. AMD, Intel, don't matter. I'll run it all. I just love Intel because it works better for gaming, and gamers love Intel because it's better for gaming. NVIDIA, same thing, better. And the encoder's always better. So if you do editing and stuff like that, always stick with NVIDIA. It's always a generation above AMD. But I've been playing Black Ops 6. Nice. That's we learn. We live and learn. I'm a redneck that got into PC stuff. Put this box away. I've been recommending people not to get the 1400K because the i7 score the same thing properly too, and I've seen. Nah, I'm sorry, man. You won't even beat my 13900KF with your 14700K. I'm sorry. Not with my kind of overclocking though. On my direct, or I'm not my direct, on my custom water loop. But I mean, the 14700K is a great CPU for gamers. Even the 13600K or 12600K if you're looking for a low powered gaming CPU. Those are more than enough and can beat AMD's 7800X3D on most games. The 13600 or even the 13700K. It's a little bit more pricier than the 13600K, but you get a little bit more performance too. Yeah, my score's on 13900K before I broke it. Sadly, with a direct die. Yeah, crazy scores I was doing. But why it shows that the 3DX push more frame. More frames does not mean better. More frames. And they're literally getting maybe 20 frames more or 10 frames more in some games. Like 10 to 20 frames more in some games for AMD's 3Ds. But AMD has AM dip, it's called AM dip. The 1% lows and the 0.1% lows are way lower than your refresh rate of your monitor. Intel will stay up in its 1% lows, and 0.1% lows will not go below your refresh rate of your monitor as long as you're not using that 500 and whatever 540 frames per second or hertz monitor. Crazy. Yeah, like if you're using a 120 hertz monitor, 165 hertz monitor, or even the 240 hertz monitor, AMD, you'll see the dips will drop below. If you're a first person shooter, an FPS gamer, you will see those dips. You'll miss those shots. You will not like AMD. Yeah. It's been around for a very, very, very long time. And it's not just the X3Ds, it's AMD. It's an AMD thing. It's called AM dip. I've said in a lot of streams, a lot of videos from a while ago too. Like I said, I called the degrading CPUs not just Intel's fault, it's also motherboard manufacturers and instability issues as part of RAM. Nope, competition has not started yet. Competition starts in 9 hours and 41 minutes and something seconds now. Motherboard had crazy setting for real. Crazy. What up there, Desired? Yeah. Motherboard had. They should not have been on the extreme OC mode. The extreme OC mode is for people like me that want to do extreme overclocking. Liquid nitrogen, dry ice, chilled water that's below negative 20 degrees. Not for people that are literally using stock settings and somehow get 1.6 volts. ASUS boards was putting 1.6 volts into the CPU in the BIOS. In the BIOS, it was getting 1.6 volts. Z90s. Like the Z97? Yeah, but not if you just want to play game and not mess with the BIOS. Yeah, exactly. If you just want to, yeah. Only Z6, only the Z series are the overclocking boards you're trying to look for. Not even ramping up to 16-volt BIOS is set parameter, and that's yeah, yeah. Now they do it for you. They're literally using the 500 amp setting for stock stock settings, not not for like I don't get how it got passed. Like I don't know how it took so long for Intel to find out. Again, I found all this out beforehand. I was like, man, like I don't know where the degrading is. I've never had an issue. My CPU never degraded. I've never seen these voltages because I manually tuned all my cores. I manually tuned everything. I never had anything on stock settings. That's why I never noticed. And yeah, I started reading up on some other things, and now I'm like, motherboards seem odd. Stock settings and the voltage is up at 1.55 and 1.6 volt on stock. That doesn't seem right, man. That doesn't seem right. B760 board. Well, hold on. I'm just trying to say. I'm just saying, if you use 13 or 14 gen CPU, you won't have any problems. If not, using a Z board. No, not true. Not true. Not true. Sorry, man. They were using different setting that was put in place into the CPU architect, not the actual motherboard. They were using the CPU architect that was the third performance mode for the CPU architect. They're literally using Intel's architect that's built into those CPUs on almost all of their boards. There's a couple of server boards that didn't do it, and the very, very low end boards where they literally, if they tried to put it to that 500 amp mark, that it would fry the board. So they put it in place onto the more higher end boards, basically, because those boards could actually handle the voltages and the actual wattage going through it. It works and it's stable and people can play their game. Oh, wait, that could be the most stable PCs. In a way, yes, but again, it's yeah. Yes, you should. So that way I can make sure you take some close-up pictures so that way I can take a look and see if I can figure out if there's actually any dead SMTs on it. Or even capacitors. I can look to see if there's any bulging capacitors, which could be an also issue. No problem, man. No problem. Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen for that. A lot is what it is. Apparently, I think it's Asus just came out with a Nitro board. So for RAM overclockers, I'm a RAM overclocker, by the way. I love RAM overclocking. Um, so instead of, you know how RAM sticks have, they got to go up into the RAM stick and then back down, and then like up really high and then down. These Nitro boards, the pins that connect into the actual gold pins on the RAM sticks are shorter. They're like really short. So maybe they're saying that will help the RAM frequency, so we can overclock the RAM frequency more instead of buying these like Apex boards, these 2 DIMM boards just for it. It should, yeah. Just like the Cam 2 RAM. Cam RAM came out with laptops, compression modules, RAMs. Cam 2 is for actual desktop motherboards, and those are literally like perfect, like for boards right there. Boom, like whew, that should be really good. Less travel base, so less. Yep, exactly. Yep, less things to worry about. So if you look at the traces on your motherboard that go to the RAM sticks, you'll see that each one that comes, so the farthest one will be like a straight line to the CPU. The next one from it will have a couple squiggly lines to equal out the same distance as the one beside it. I like Gigabyte. I have a Z690 horse master. That's what I'm using right now. I got records on it. I'd love to be sponsored by anybody though. Just because I would like more hardware. I don't care what works. Whatever works works. And I have records on mine that where people can't even reach these memory speeds on Apex boards for some reason. Yet I have these speeds on my 4DIMM Z690 horse master. On the oldest BIOS. I use the certain BIOS, F28 BIOS on these motherboards just because it's better for my RAM overclocking. And because I manually tune all my CPU, so I don't care about it going into the extreme OC mode and stock settings because I never use stock settings. Like their GFX cards too, yeah. Have you reached out to anyone yet? Oh, buddy, all the time. Corsair is the one I really want to be partnered up with, but maybe G Skill, we'll see. But I've reached out to Corsair many times, just not at this time. I'm too small of a channel. Same thing with Zotac. They're very polite. They're basically saying, not right now. Like, no. But yeah, I've tried to reach out for many people. I have donators though for my channel, by the way. So this MX4 is brought to you by my donators, by the way. They helped me buy this big tube of MX4 thermal paste by Arctic. It's good down to -50, which should be good enough for me right now. And hardware. I'm getting hardware. I just gotta wait for it. That weird because I tried like 4 GB board and 2 died really quick, and GPUs too. Might have been just I got this motherboard has almost 15,000 hours on it. This motherboard. And extreme overclocking on it. So, and it's really good motherboard. Maybe you're just buying the ROM motherboards, or hopefully you got the warranty, to be honest. Gigabyte has pretty good warranty. I've blown up some Gigabyte boards on an FX 8150, overclocking the snot out up to about 6 gigahertz. Completely melted the traces right through the board. That way I was I should go. Oh, it's in the C-can. C-can's too loud to open right now. It's too late. Maybe tomorrow I'll bring it out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I used to see it. The boards is like it's supposed to be a bluish board. Nah, it like turned green. And the back side's like black. CPU is fine. CPU is fine. Not the board. I need a new AM3 Plus board, but I want a good one. Yeah, they repaired them. Good, good. That's good. Yeah, Gigabyte has some pretty good warranty, so that's nice. I've had Gigabyte cards as well, like GPU cards. 1080. I had a nice 1080. OC WindForce 3, I think it's called X3 or 3X. I don't know. It's a 3-fan blade Gigabyte. Pretty good card. But yeah, I've owned a lot of stuff. I own a lot of stuff. Like I said, here's a box full of 100 CPUs right there underneath me. Right, let's move this up a bit. See where I'm at here for the boom. Move this over. Boom. So I got this thing. Hopefully I can show. Hopefully I can show here. Just give me 1 sec. Full of that has USBs and like Windows keys and that. But like I got tons of CPUs, more Xeons, i7 920s, 930. Like I said, my FX A150, my Athlon 64, X5667. Oh, well, this one, i5 2400. Got some pretty good scores with that one. This is a lapped X5570. This should be what one? This is gonna be a giveaway CPU as well. This is an X5570. Not that one. A brand like more of a brand new one. Another i5 2400. Got a 650 in here too. Another i5 2400, an i7 2600. This is my Pentium 4. Yeah, a whole bunch of CPUs, different CPUs. Need more CPUs. Need more GPUs. Need more RAM. Oh yeah, RAM. DDR4 Samsung B die. DDR5 Micron. They're actually these are pretty good for tuning, but they suck for frequency. 5600 megatransfers max, but they're not bad for tuning. A whole whack of DDR3 kits, Nanyas, Hynix, SK Hynix, Samsungs, Microns, a whole bunch of kits of DDR3. Need more though, want more. A whole bunch of stuff. That's one kit. I got another box full of stuff too. I'm not lifting it up right now. That's all I'm saying. I'm just not lifting it up right now. Oh, I left out. This is a Nanya. Nope, this is SK Hynix DDR3 single-sided die. Dual rank though. But yeah, that's a whole bunch of stuff. I got, I don't know, 11 motherboards, GTX 770 that I fixed up on the other stream. If you want to go watch that some point, it's a pretty good stream. It's pretty good. Had to fix it up, do some soldering work, did some multimeter work to figure out what was wrong. I got them mixed up and using a Z690 board. The MSI is a B760. Nice. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, the B series, it's not, it's not as good. I found an adapter that NVMe Gen 5 PCA Gen 5, and it worked with my Crucial T750. Ooh, get over 14K and 12K read and writes. That's very nice. Had to use a fan because they get hot, man. They get crazy hot. That's a nice collection. Oh yeah, it's decent. Yeah, they were the first DDR5. Those Corsair. Yes, they were. Look at you. Look at you. Yeah, they're cheap too at the time for me. I think I got them on sale for like $150 for 32 gigs, which was pretty good. Then I got my Corsair Dominator Titaniums. They're Hynix M die. You can buy Hynix M die at a certain time, basically, from Corsair. So Hynix M die is a mass production. Hynix A die is a first production. So if you don't know anything about RAM for DDR5 or DDR4 or DDR3, there's certain memory chips and certain ones tune better, or more voltage is better, and stuff like that. You can see with the codes. So your code, there'll be a code on it, and you can see the one of them might say have an A, one of them have an M. It's also C, I believe. For the Micron C dies, not good, by the way. They're just, yours probably are Micron, by the way. They're 5600 kit, but they overclocked to 6000. If you can go to 6400 megatransfers, then they're not Micron. Micron won't overclock that high. You get only about 400 megatransfers per second on Micron more. They're SK Hynix. There wouldn't be an SK Hynix. There'll be Hynix for DDR5, not SK Hynix. SK Hynix is older. That why where mid you can fix up I fix up everything. I accidentally knocked stuff off my motherboard and it stopped working. I had to resolder it. Again, this right here, MOSFET stopped working. I had to do some multimeter work. All these other guys like Joe Hart and other guys, Desire there, they'll let you know. They've already watched the video. It's pretty good stream to be honest. Um, you probably can't see it though. Well, maybe it's not the greatest on that one. So there's the MOSFET that I had to solder, that one, and then there's an SMT that I also had to solder. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Should be able to see because there should be a little bit of flux still on it right here. That one right here. Up here by one of the memory pads. The card wasn't getting hot, so after I fixed it, it got hot because I didn't have the cooler on. Used my finger. Hart was like, just check to see if it was hot. Okay, I'm just gonna plug it in. Plugged it in. Put my finger on it. I was like, I don't know. Okay, it's getting hot. Yeah. Yes, CMT GXX M2B C 36W. I don't know what those ones are. There's CL36, but W doesn't make sense. The M2B makes sense. That's generally on most of them. I'm not sure what die that would be. I've never heard of a W die. CMT is just the Corsair. I'm not sure. Corsair, I don't think that uses Hynix. They use Micron and Samsung for the DDR5. Or sorry, Hynix. They don't use Samsung. Samsung uses Samsung DDR5 was more implemented into ECC RAM or for servers for DDR5. Samsung did, and they only go up to a certain speed, basically. Nice. I have a Gigabyte 39 OC that I don't power on, and a GTX 1080 Ti EVGA 413 that crashed in some games. Sounds like for the 1080 Ti, sounds like it could be capacitors, bulging capacitors. That happens with some of them. Bulging capacitors. If you get bulging capacitors, they're not as, they're worn. They're really worn. So the transfer out of them, basically, you might be getting more voltage or less voltage, and that can crash you. There's a way to check a fuse, or there should be two fuses on them, but there's a way to check a fuse to see if it's if there might be a blown fuse. If there's a blown fuse, then yeah, it could probably be a capacitor. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about your RAM kit, to be honest. M2B. But the M2, yeah. Nah, it wouldn't be. You wouldn't have Hynix M die that low. CW. It could be. I don't know. I've never heard of a W die though, so I don't know. By the looks of it, though, they're Micron kits, not Hynix. They're not Hynix. They're definitely not Hynix. Hynix does 6,000 and up, basically, for their DDR5. Not unless you got some really old stuff, and then, yeah, it's not going to be Hynix M die. It'll be like a Hynix A die, but it says CPU Z, it says Hynix. Okay. I don't know. It wouldn't be an M die. If it is, it'd be a first production M die. So can you, does it have the code? Like, can you, I guess the only way you can actually get it if you take off the heat sinks. Again, I always I do all modify all mine. So my Hynix M die are cop and modded on all the RAM chips on one side of the die, on the back side of the die. Since I have single-sided dies, I can literally just use copper shims on the side that has no chips on it and reuse the actual heat sink, which makes them look stock. It's really nice. Little sleeper RAM sticks, basically. Is a cool model rate number, I think. Yeah, see the code number there should technically give you the what die it is, but it's again the CMT32GX5M 2B. It's always generally something like that. The 5600 C36, it's CL36W. I've never heard of a W die though. If it's M die, there's a way to check it if it's an M die, but it's a way to check it if it's an M die. Not gonna lie. They have added 2 new models of this one, and I have the first ones. Okay. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here. CMT. 32 GX5. 32 gig. To be 56 CW. C36W. Platinum. No way they're A die. What voltage are they at for the XMP? Do you know? Yeah, it's just different revisions. No, there's no software you can actually see. Yeah, the only way you can really check to see what it is if you let me know the voltage. We can run some timings on it and see if it can actually run the timings. It could be an A die, but to me it doesn't look like it is. But from what I'm reading, some people are saying it's A die. It all really does depend on the voltage and certain timings. It's not M die. It's definitely not M die. Definitely not M die. Just let me know the voltages though. Definitely not Hynix M die. It could be A die, but you said it's like the first gen, right? First generation. Like these are like old sticks. Let me know the voltage, though. I really need to know the voltage. Voltage. Oh, wait. I guess I have it right in front of me. One sec. Right. Is that the one? Nope. I need the voltage. Give me the voltage. Is that 1.1 volts? Or 1.45 volts? 1.4 volts? 1.35 volts? It doesn't... It's not giving me specs on it. It's not giving me the specs. Blah, blah. Yeah, I already know the times I gotta use. I need the voltage of the kit. Give me the kit. It's not letting me know the voltage. I don't get it. It, like, everywhere I'm searching, even on it, it's not giving me the voltage of it. Let's do that again. See if we can actually find the right one. Yes. This one. Voltage. I just want to know the voltage. That one? This one. This one. This one. This one. Nope. This one. Nope. I really want to know the voltage, please. What's the XMP voltage? Shouldn't be much for 5600. That's literally not. It's not. I got nothing. CL36 is a right kind of timing for M-die, but not 5600 mega transfers. It could be Hynix M-die, but I need to know the voltage. The XMP voltage is 1.35 volts, it'll be M-die. If it's 1.4 or 1.45 volts at the speeds, it'll be Hynix A-die. It's just, I got no voltage. You have the kit, right? You have the kit in front of you? Like, let me know. M-die. Yeah, I know. Apparently, no. It just froze for all of a sudden. It froze. It actually froze. So I was like, is he gone? Like, hopefully he's not gone. Yeah, yeah. M-die. Yeah, it came back. The chat came back. But yeah, it's literally, yeah, that'd be M-die. Which kind of makes sense. It does have the M in the actual, what you would call it, but still. Yeah, refresh. Yeah, I should have refreshed. Yeah, when I got those two other revision was not on the website yet. Those other revisions could be different dies though as well. But if you're gonna try to find some kits, keep getting those kind. Hynix M die is great, and Hynix A die is good. Hynix A die is better for frequency and for the actual refresh rate of the RAM. You can lower it to like 400 timing. Basically, it's really really good. I pushed them at 6,000 megatrip, but everything over app crash. Yeah, because voltage. You got to get more voltage into it. Up to 1.4 volts will work, or for 6,000, I would try 1.35 volts. But if you're trying to get more than that, you can. You can. Hynix A die is better for frequency overclocking, though. Not for all secondary timing tuning, though. And CL36 kits are technically a Hynix M die. It's just you got to look at the voltage of the XMP at what its speed it's at. If it's at like a 7,000 plus or 6,800 mega transfer plus kit at CL36, it should be rated around 1.35 volts. If that's for Hynix A die, it'll be 6,800 or 7,000 kit. It'll be CL38 and it will be 1.45 volts. It'll be more voltage because Hynix A die wants more voltage, but the more voltage actually is kind of nice. And Hynix A die, you can be fine at the temperatures of like 65, 70 C and not have to worry about crashing. Hynix M die, if the temperatures reach about 40 C, they start crashing. Oh, I got the AI. I didn't even realize I put it on. They running right now at 1.365 volt. They don't need to be that high at that speed. Temperature. Actually, you should run like a 7-zip or an IDA64 test. See what temperatures they good. If they go past 45 degrees Celsius without crashing, then it's Hynix A die for sure. But it sounds like they are Hynix M die because the voltage would be way higher for Hynix A die. That's just Hynix A die. So just give me 1 second. I'll make myself into a bubble head. Wait, do I have anything else open? Yes, I do. Sweet. And then I will do this. Just give me. I'm still here, by the way. I'm still here. It's just. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, they can really hot without crash, but never really check the temp for the RAM. They seem like they're hot, but 40C is pretty hot to us humans. They'll be at like 70C or 65 to 70C, no problem for Hynix A die. So always check the temperatures. Use hardware monitor. So like this. It's very easy. Hardware monitor is very easy to look at. So you can have this going. Then you look at the temperatures. Mine's at 26.3. And it's been running for a while now. No fan on it at all. But if I got it up to about 40C with these timings, it just doesn't like it. Hynix MDI doesn't like it. It'll crash. If my room is 30, yep. No, Hynix MDI won't get hot. Like, yeah, 42. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, 160 Fahrenheit, 70C. Thank you, Joe. But all your readers, like your hardware monitors, will be in Celsius. Mine's at 42. Yeah, 42 is fine. My tab's at 550. uh, um, that's awesome. Yeah, if you run a test and they're still stable above 45 while overclocked, yeah, then, or if they go up to 70C, I wouldn't recommend it though. Like, Hynix A die is cool for it, but not M. Yeah, right on, bro. Any other questions or anything you would like me to try out right now that I can do? I wanted to go look over some more, maybe some more oh, hardware bot stuff here. R23. I'm at 5 gig. Hold on 1 second here. Oh, whoops. I don't need that on that one. I don't need it on that one. This one. This one. This one. I'm streaming too, so like the scores aren't gonna be great. So again, I am at 5 gigahertz on the P's, 4.2 on the E's. And I'll just give my E's a little bit of an offset. Whoa, 15. I only want 15 offset. 15, 15, 15. Oh, I did all three. Okay, nice. Checking, apply. Also, XTU. So you'll notice some motherboards will put you to a 0.008 time for the AVX2 voltage scale factor. You can set that on Intel to actually give you full utilization of your CPU. So if you didn't know that, boom, boom. I think there will look good. Right now, 4.5 gigahertz. I generally run all my benchmarking at 5 gigahertz on the ring, but I can't overclock it while I'm streaming for some reason. It'll crash me. I don't know why. I've already tried it. But yeah, usually 5 gigahertz on the ring cache for my 12600K, which is pretty crazy to be honest. Making sure everything's still set up correct here so I can read and see. And we just click start. Oh. Bug report is max 23200 CPU. Should check temperature too. By default, what it put on 14th gen, I think? Yeah, about 5. Right around 5. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just because I'm streaming. I just gotta tune it a little more. These don't need more. These need more. So 0.54. 45. So Intel also, you'll see here your P cores. On the 600s, you'll only have 2 of them. It will be 2 good cores, so they have the stars. That was there. You don't need as much voltage, by the way. And my E cores, I probably need a little bit of an offset for them. Apply. Yeah, with the good cores, yeah, you can reach higher clock speeds with lower voltage. So that way, if you manually tune all your cores, because each core will be different voltages, another way to check too would be use like a hardware monitor. Check out your voltages. Maybe not on this one though. Just to see where your voltages are really at. A VCSA, it's 1.8. That's crazy. Should be lower. That's why I like to manually tune stuff. Do this again. Same thing at around the same spot. Needs a bit more. Yeah, I need to use hardware info, I believe, for that. Should be fine, really. Don't think I need to offset these, but I'm going to offset them just a little bit. We'll offset these just a little bit more too. And my P's offset by 50 mil. What? That's for time spy. It's not terrible there, desired. Those programs didn't work because of Windows. Windows now says fixed for the P and E cores, so they work. So hardware monitor and hardware info are reading more correct for them. It's only because it was a Windows thing. Yep. Yeah. The E-cores will all automatically be a lower voltage anyways. It's not like they're at the 1.275 voltage with the offset of giving it 1.3. They'll be like a 1.1 with the offset. So 1.15. I'll send a photo of full results. Okay. Sounds good. It's only because I'm streaming though, probably. They keep crashing. There we go. Okay, a little bit farther. But I didn't have a hardware info. I wanted a hardware monitor open so I could see the temp, see what kind of temp it is. Maybe I'll do it again at this. And all priority, normal, tweak. AVX2. I have a hardware open this time. For me, I could put any voltage offset on eCore, always crash bugger. Really? Yeah. You should be trying it now because they fix through Windows if you have updated Windows. I'm only crashing because I'm streaming off this PC. I do have a capture card now. I should have set up on my other PC so I can do some testing on this one, but I didn't. I'll probably do a next stream because I'll be doing the competition from November 1st till December 20th. If you try different offset with P cores and E cores, it's gonna bug? No. It won't. It won't bug. Voltage is a little bit higher. But now what I want to do is Control Alt Delete, Task Manager this. Processes, hardware, go to details, priority, below normal, change, minimize, open up. Now I have the AVX2 for sure working on that. I gotta go back to here. Oh yeah, no, go back to here and run this. I'm just gonna run it without tabbing over to the chat. Okay, yep, right around the same spot. So it is voltage. The temperature here, I don't really trust this one, but recent maximum wattage, 1 million. That's why I don't trust Intel's. That's why I don't trust it. 1 million. Hold on, I'm coming back. $1 million. What up? Yeah, just one second. I'll show you. It'll work. It's because I'm streaming. 72. It's kind of high, but it's fine actually for temperature. So look for Intel, recent maximum. Actually, 1 trillion wattage. That's awesome. P cores will be fine for the voltage they're offset at, but we'll do these up to 75. 75. eCore 4.2. We'll just put these up to a 7.5 as well. We might have to give it a full 100 millivolt just to be safe on it, but we are, as you see, we're progressing the render. Before we were only going a little past, now we're going a full round twice. So that's how you know it's actually working. Right around the same spot, a little bit farther. So I'm going to say it's actually the E-cores. It's my E-cores that are doing this. So we'll have to do a full, we'll just do a full 1.25 or 0.125 millivolt offset for the E-cores, because the E-cores can be really finicky sometimes. P-cores should be fine, to be honest. It's only because I'm streaming. I know I can do this while I'm not streaming. A little bit. Just a little bit each time. Maybe we'll set the priority to below normal too. Just because I'm streaming, it's probably trying to take off from the streaming. So I'm streaming, the core voltages will be a bit lower. So it's trying to jump those over to it.